This is Lizzie from Let Zoe Spoil You.
And Sagira from Sagira Salutes You. And together, we are Newbie versus Weeaboo. Sagira, Newbie.
Lizzie, a Weeaboo.
It's Newbie versus Weeaboo.
This podcast is brought to you by a veteran anime fan, myself, Lizzie, who wanted to share their love with a friend. That would be Sagira, who is our newbie. Each week, I make Newbie watch an anime film, and we discuss it from the points of view of someone who has watched anime for 25 years, did a master's in Japanese culture, and spent time in Japan, versus someone who has watched the Death Note in dub.
So today is a different kind of Newbie versus Weeaboo, because we're not actually looking at something that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
This is a review on Battle Angel Alita live.
So Battle Angel Alita versus Alita Battle Angel.
Yes.
Because why did they change it round? I don't know.
I didn't even notice, to be honest with you.
There we go. I mean, I could be really elitist and start calling it Gundam, because that's the name of the original Japanese one.
There you go.
But I'm not going to. I still call it Battle Angel Alita.
Just to lessen the confusion.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about when it first started and your expectations versus what you saw?
I tried not to have massively high expectations because I knew I would be disappointed regardless, because I really like the original comic books. It was one of the first animes and mangas I read back in the 90s. It was really close to my heart. And I know these live action adaptations never work, because I hated Ghost in the Shell and Dragon Ball Evolution and Death Note. When Americans and Hollywood remakes these things, it just never goes to plan. Even the old Fist of the North Star live action, they're always bad. But so I thought, you know what, as long as it's better than Death Note and Ghost in the Shell, I will be happy. I think my expectations even then, I was still not happy, but it is definitely better than those ones.
That's good to know.
But, yeah. So I do think of the Western live action adaptations of anime, this is the best it's ever been.
Good.
I think it's the best adaptation of a manga out of Hollywood ever.
Something positive.
There's some positives in this. It's just, then, that's not saying much, because the bar was pretty much, the Death Note live action. The bar was pretty much in the toilet.
That was the last thing we were exposed to.
Yeah, and that awful Ghost in the Shell movie that missed the plot, which you get to look forward to when we do that comparison.
Oh, good.
But, yeah. It's an average film, I think.
For a white girl, I liked it. I enjoyed it. I mean, I did see Avatar, so you kind of expect how James Cameron is gonna do his thing, and it's gonna be CGI. It's gonna be the way he wants to do it. So you kind of go into it thinking Avatar-esque, rather than thinking anime. In my mind, anyway.
I should have done that. I should have gone in thinking James Cameron movie. I should have gone in thinking Avatar. Robert Rodriguez. And this is coming from the girl that likes the Spy Kids movies. And they're awful, but they do what they say on the tin and they're fun. If I'd gone in going Spy Kids and Avatar, but I went in going, ooh, Battle Angel Alita, but fancier.
Yeah.
And I was a bit like, oh, for all the problems of Elysium, the awful shaky cam that's in that movie, Elysium got the social commentary construct of the world much better than Alita, and Elysium ripped off Alita. And it's just but then Elysium's not a great film either, because shaky cam.
From the opening, I had a different feeling, because when you look at the anime, it's all red and dingy and the stink fumes coming off of the dump and all that kind of stuff, but I felt like it was cleaner. I felt like the entire city and the dump was a cleaner place, which kind of took away from the grittiness of
That was my first
Alita.
problem with it.
Yeah.
We were it's very clean. It's this is meant to be literally a scum hole of a cesspit. The rest of the world has been totally destroyed. This beautiful elite city in the sky is literally opening its drains and putting it. The last essence of humanity that can't be rich and beautiful and perfect, was sort of just trying to desperately survive in corruptness and squalor and and it's just and then all the social commentary about how it's the lower classes, and it's the ethnic migrants and stuff that aren't the elite Japanese above, and it kind of you're taking out one level of its social commentary already by going, seems quite nice here.
Yeah, it's literally the first thing I wrote as a note saying, atmosphere not as grungy, because it wasn't. It was just, it came in like, ha ha, look at this wonderful world. Yeah. And it's like, it's not a wonderful world. It's apocalyptic. It's
meant to be an absolute cesspit of a city.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like you're meant to be coming expecting like Blade Runner 2046. Like, you know, dark and grungy and gritty and the world's been screwed over. Yeah. I know I'm going to be jumping around a lot in this review, but it's when they left the city, which never happens like in the original like part. They left the city and it's all like green fields and where they're obviously growing all their crops. And then they go to this beautiful like forest with this one. I was like, why would you live in the city? Just go to the forest with some steel, build a shack, and live off the wonderful fertile land and fresh water.
Well, even in the city, I was like, I wouldn't mind living there. Like, it's not too bad. It's all right, other than the people having parts stolen from them.
London that are like more scummy than that. I'm like, dude, no offence to anyone that might be from parts of London, but I think I'd rather go to Alita City than like, well, Elephant and Castle back in the 90s.
Alita City. But I do have to say, like, because Christoph Waltz, is that his name? He played Edo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought he was brilliant as that part. I thought he was very well cast.
Yeah.
Like, comparing it to the animator there, I thought they couldn't have cast it any better. Like, I can't actually think of anyone who would be good at that part.
No, I liked him. I thought he gave a strong performance. He kind of was tender, severe, but he was also like able to kind of do like the fight stuff with the means of what he was and be nerdy, but not be like all of a sudden like this old man is suddenly in a fight sequence.
Exactly. His age didn't restrict him from doing all the kick-ass stuff.
Yeah, so yeah, no, Edo, absolutely fine with him.
Yeah, and Rosa Salazar, is that how you pronounce
her? I'm not pronouncing her.
Salazar.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was Alita, and I felt like her interpretation of Alita was naive, but a bit more grown up than she was in the anime. She seemed a lot more childish in the anime, especially with the whole bit with when she goes to meet Hugo and she's like trying to flirt and she's like, oh, I need to look pretty for Hugo. You know, it's like, no.
The romance is what ruined this movie for me.
There was much more a focus on their relationship.
Oh, and it's not meant to be like that. See, like, I think the look of Alita, and I will say the visuals are stunning, and the fact that she was a totally CGI character, and no scenes was the real actress there, it was blended beautifully, and the way her arms were was just seamless. I prefer
the marble-like one. I mean, her second costume was
the berserker,
really good. Like, the way that it moulded to what it should have been as her body and stuff, that was brilliant. But I really like the marble effect of the first... of her first form. Like, I thought that was beautiful.
Well, she's not meant to get that berserker armour until a lot later. So they were kind of like, quick, put the berserker stuff in it. And it's like, no, wait, you need to show why she goes off on that journey to get to that point.
Maybe it's because they're trying to see how this film gets a reaction as to whether there's going to be a second one, because they have left it open for a second film.
Yeah.
But
plenty of source material.
Yes, but in case it wasn't popular enough, they didn't want to waste more money on something that wasn't popular. They had to stick it in now, in case they never get that chance, you know? Maybe that's what they've...
I know, I mean, I get that they have to change it up a bit to, do things with pacing, appeal to a Western audience, kind of inspire the anime fans to kind of go, I love that bit in the manga, I want to go and see it done. But I did find the pacing really slow on this movie.
See, I found that, I mean, if you compare it to the anime, it is slower. Because the anime was like, hey, this has happened, this is going to happen, and look at this person, this relationship is like this, and it's like, whoa! I found it a lot easier to follow in the film, because once watching the anime, when I watched this, I was like, oh, that's what that's about. Oh, this is their relationship. It slowed it down.
Yeah, but they changed those things, so actually that wasn't what it was about, or their relationship. Like, some of it. Some of it was... Some of it, like obviously they managed to do the Edo and Shuren stuff more justice.
Exactly. Is that how it is in the anime, that they were a couple?
Yes.
That wasn't clear in the anime. It was like they worked together rather than were an actual couple.
No, I think they were an actual couple. It's been a while. Because they kind of stopped being interested in Shuren after, like, she dies. But so I was like, oh dear, that was a bit tragic. But no, they were in a relationship. And so it was nice having kind of like that divide. And the thing is, there's things that annoy me also about some of this stuff that if I say will spoil the manga. The film has done something that has majorly like changed the destiny of the movie. Right. So as fans of the manga are like, well, now you can't do the actual point of Alita.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me afterwards then.
Yeah, but I'm a bit like, wait a minute, they can't do that. And some of the things they changed, and it's like, and I'm going to forgive me because I'm going to forget people's names all over the place.
Yeah.
Because I'm dyslexic, I automatically forget names so quickly. Even when I love something, I'm like, But my, like, visually, stunning, and some of the adult relationships I thought were fleshed out better.
I thought Ido and Alita's relationship was a lot better in this than the anime, because you could see why he cared about her so much, why he wanted to take care of her and not have her like turn into this killing machine, because he wanted her to be his daughter. Yeah, he wanted that kind of relationship again.
I liked that, and I wish they'd made it a story about a father-daughter like the original is until much later, because she and Hugo, it's not first love as in 16-year-old teenagers. It's not Twilight. And I kept sitting there going,
did feel like Twilight.
I'm watching Twilight.
When they kissed in the rain, I was like, is he going to start sparkling in a minute?
And then it was like, I'll give you my heart. No, that's the source of your power. You'll die. What are you doing?
Yeah, I thought that was a bit too naive. I felt like, no, she shouldn't be that willing to give up everything.
Naive. When she first comes onto the scene, it's puppy love. It's like they even, because they aged her up in the movie, like, oh, she's a bit older than you thought. That's because in the anime she starts off like about 11, 12. And when she gets her later body, the body matures with her, like, maturity. So she gets a slightly older body to match the fact that she has grown up. But in the early days, like, it's just like that sweet first friendship, that kind of puppy love that, like, that they do a lot in anime when, like, 12-year-olds have relationships. And it's not like, it's like, you know, it's like watching Cardcaptor Sakura. Like, they're 12 and you can believe they're in love, but it's that first really innocent, sweet love. It's not dating, it's not sexual, it's a sweet little first love.
I did enjoy that you saw their relationship from, like, how it started, like him meeting her and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I felt like it was the Twilight kind of, oh, they're nice friends, oh, now they're in love. Like, it was so quick.
Yeah.
It was just like
I fancy him, woo!
We know what his fate is, so let's fit this relationship in a 3-hour film. Like, it's too quick.
It was too quick. And it's like, and also and by doing that, they changed up so much of what core events for her and why she does things. So, like, obviously in the original, like, Hugo dies on the whoosh, and I hate the fact that they never mention the spiral things apart from in one flashback. Then all of a sudden he's being, while in the original, like, anime and in the manga, there's so much reference to those things continuously going up and down. Like, you hear the sound effects in the background, so you know that no one tries climbing that because the woozy thing's going to come and, like, you know, chop you into pieces. And so and the whole thing is, like, the reason she joins the rollerball is because after Hugo's death, she's so messed up by it, she just wants to hurt things, and she just wants to hurt herself. So she joins the roller derby so that she can just be a killing machine, and basically she's in so much pain, she wants to cause pain to others, and she wants pain to herself because she's, like,
hurting.
Yeah. Rather than this one, I'm like, it was like watching Twilight meets the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
It's like, she's not Katniss. This is what I didn't like, the fact that they turned, like, 15 rated anime, an adult manga that's from 15 older, it's quite violent, to a 12 rated YA. And I love YA, I love the Hunger Games, and I love, like, Maze Runner and stuff, but Alita's not a YA novel.
That was another point I was making in my notes, was that it's a lot less gruesome because of the 12 rating.
Yeah.
Like, in the anime, there is, like, blood spurting and things being chopped that you can see and all this kind of stuff, but yeah, it just lacked that kind of gruesomeness and the kind of the world that they were living in.
The world's meant to be harsh, and I hate this. I mean, I hated the guy playing Hugo, and I hated Hugo's character and all of it. Like,
Poor guy.
Well, he was just rubbish. He was just like, oh, I love you, but then to make it all safe and nice, they changed his, like, origin story and everything.
I did miss that. I felt like you didn't have a strong connection to Hugo because you didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And now that he's gone, you will never get that in this series of films.
No.
Unless they do, like, some weird flashback of someone else explaining what happened to him, which will not make sense. That you're never going to get that brother relationship that he had. And I actually looked at his wrist to see if he had that scar. And I was like, there's no scar, they're not going to talk about it.
No.
And I knew that. I was like, oh, but it's such a good part.
Yeah, he's betrayed, so that's why he's so hardened, because, like, you know, family did that to him. Then they merged two characters together. So, you know, the old cyborg guy with the sword?
Yes.
He's that character. And Cecil, the guy that, like, chops his head off in the anime, the one with the big samurai hat and the green coat. They merged them into one thing.
Right.
So they took out one character and squished two together, and I'm like, no, you're doing an entire plot line, but there's another character invested in this, and also, the fact is, Hugo deserved the bounty on him.
Yes.
He was out there willingly pulling spines out of things to sell to make the money to go to Zerum. And this one, he was like, oh no, I've had a bit of a change of heart. I'm only taking off their arms and legs. He's like, no, you were a gang that was going out ripping out spines.
Again, that gruesomeness that they missed out on.
Yeah, how harsh this world is and why they have to go to such lengths to extreme and why, like, and then why Hugo, like, kind of goes mental at the end. He's like, I'm going to climb up this. And he's out. It's like, he didn't seem that mental. He's just like, oh, that was a bit shit. I better climb this. Oh dear. But it's like, no, you're not dramatic. You're not broken. You're not twisted. You're not.
And
it didn't hurt.
At the end, I felt more for Alita than I did for him. Like, the fact that he was gone, it was like, oh, that's a shame. But my heart went to her because of how she felt towards him. However, as you say, the romance shouldn't have been that quick.
No.
So
it should have been, like, that first innocent kind of, like, little friendship. They should have kept them younger. And it should have been, the father-daughter stuff was amazing, but they lost all of Hugo's background, and he was just so dull, and therefore that heartbreaking tragedy of knowing he'd been betrayed by his brother, of knowing that he was going through those extremes, that the bounty on him was deserved because he was actually killing people, but Alita's like, oh my goodness, he's the kind of person I have to hunt, but I also want to protect him, and then that's when she realises that there's more to it to this world. Yeah. That's one of those things. She realises that people aren't just mindless killers and she's just not fighting bad guys. These people probably have families and backstories, and there's reasons why they're making bad choices, such as pulling spines out of cyborgs. And that's a growing up moment for her. Yeah. So they just kind of aged her up by going, she's a teenager now who fancies him, rather than going, no, she's being exposed to tragedy and backstory and feeling like she's betrayed by someone she's become friends with, but then having to reassess things, and it's just like, no, you're missing it. And then even like stuff like the roller derby stuff is meant to happen way after that, so it's like just shoehorned in there, because you know what, it looks like grand entertainment. Why are these people sad they can just go and watch roller derby and drink their pints? They're having a lovely time.
I mean, for me, like, the CGI was good.
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of was a bit crap was that Spider Woman thing with the face. Like, I didn't feel that was the best CGI they could have done for her. I felt like she was kind of out of place. I mean, the woman who played her was great, but the actual CGI on her wasn't the best compared to everything else.
Yeah.
And also, it was about then that I started to feel like this is more of a CGI movie with actors rather than a bit of CGI in a real world, you know, like, it started to become a CGI film, and I was kind of losing that connection to the realism of it. Yeah, like, I mean, it's still good. It's just I didn't have that.
I wasn't connected to any of the characters apart from Edo, because Alita wasn't acting like herself. Hugo wasn't himself, and everybody else was a bit like.
I know. I mean, the girl who played Alita was very good. What she had done.
She emoted beautifully.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, she played her version of it very well. However, as you say, it's not Alita. It's not the same as what you see in the anime. Or I assume reading the I haven't personally read the manga, but I assume it's not how she's portrayed in the manga.
No, it takes her time to grow up.
Yeah.
She starts off like innocent, but she learns about the world. She needs these experiences to grow up. She gets a berserker body later, and they even gave her what's the name of the plasma power? And it's like, she doesn't get that yet. And by the end of the film, she doesn't even use it. And also, I kept waiting for the best bit. You know, when in the anime and the things are going, and she does the swings around the arms with 2 fingers.
Yeah.
And it's the best move. And it's the most iconic bit from Alita, and they didn't do it in the live action. And I'm like, you didn't do her arm swing. That's like the best bit.
The thing that made me actually go, because I wasn't expecting it, was when she was having that battle and she got sliced up. Completely sliced up. I was not expecting that. So, yeah, it wasn't in the anime. Or was it? I can't remember. I don't think it was. I would have written about it otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was. But when she just got completely sliced and she was just a torso and an arm and a head, I was like, oh! Because I was like, oh my gosh, how's she going to get out of this one? You know, it was the only time that I wasn't expecting something.
Yeah. It's like, I'm just going to go on a subplot and find my berserker body and upgrade early. And I'm like, no, you don't.
But looking for that berserker body, I do think the underwater stuff was really well done.
Oh God,
I thought it was so beautiful the way that they did all the effects of the reflection and her swimming through. I thought that was lovely, that bit. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, I like water and I like underwater stuff.
Being Cancerians.
Yeah, so I was like, ooh, this is nice water.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying this.
It's a nice calm bit.
Yeah.
In terms of the music, because we always talk about music, I felt like this was more whimsical rather than the kind of 80s like sci-fi music that they used in the anime, and I kind of prefer the 80s sci-fi because it sets a time.
Yeah.
You know, rather than this whimsical, Lord of the Ringsy sci-fi type thing.
For someone who pays attention to the scores, didn't notice the scoring in it. The music, it was just so bland to me. Yeah. There was nothing, it was just so much music you would expect to be playing in a Hollywood la la la. It wasn't
ripping.
No. Yeah. And it was just like, especially like some of the music that plays over certain set pieces, you're like, huh? And then the set pieces would go on too long, and so you get bored, and then the music would suddenly stop and then start again. And you're like, I'm not getting anything from the scoring from this. It didn't bring any extra layers to it.
What do you think of the guy who played Vector?
Did a decent job. He's a good actor.
He is a good actor.
He looked the part.
He looked like Blade.
Yeah.
I have to say, when I was thinking, I was like, he's Blade.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't have a lot to work with. They didn't give him anything too meaty. They gave it all to the barbarous dude.
Well, I didn't... Do they have the Vector Nova thing in the anime? If they did, I didn't get that.
No.
I was going to say, because I didn't get that at all, if that's the case. But
no, they changed Nova's character for this. That's right. Nova's someone else in the
Got it.
In the manga.
Got it. Because I was going to say, like, that's a storyline I did not pick up on the anime if it was there.
Which is obviously another thing that me and Luke are kind of going, why is Nova the bad guy? And that's not who Nova is. Nova's a crazy scientist too that likes to experiment on people.
He's up there.
He's not the leader of, like...
Yeah.
He's not... I mean, he does do some weird shit, as far as I recall, but... He's a
different character.
He's a different character.
That's Nova. I did enjoy the bar fight scene. I thought that was well choreographed.
Yes.
However, let's all talk about the elephant in the room, the bit that I've been trying to avoid. The dog. No, don't say no. I was waiting for it. I was told that he doesn't die in the manga. I was hoping he wouldn't die.
Yeah, no, I was expecting it. I was actually, like, surprised they kept it in there. They did do it off screen to be like, it's off screen.
12.
But, you know, but what I didn't get is, like, more... I'm sorry if I could seem, like, really harsh, that I didn't really care about the dog. But, no, it's because just after that scene, and then the fight... Then there was this random moment of, like, Marvel-esque humour that was so out of place. It's like, you know, the old dude with all the dogs?
Yeah.
And he just kind of stands there going, he's not a dog person then, and wanders off. And I'm like, why is there a random one-liner from Dog Dude when there's no other, like, jokes in this entire movie? But there was just, like, this really randomly contemporary, like, bit of, like, humour. And I was like, and that really jarred me. I was like, what? No. No, we just had a big battle. She chopped in half.
No, as soon as I saw the dog...
The dead dog chopped up Alita. Not a dog person, then.
No, as soon as I saw the dog, I was like, they're doing the dog bit.
Yeah.
There's no point having a dog unless they do the dog bit.
Yeah.
And I was hitting my partner. I was like, it's happening. It's happening. He hadn't seen the anime, so he didn't know. But he knew something was going to happen to the dog because I'm sat there being traumatised going, the dog.
Oh, poor dog.
So, yeah, I was a bit traumatised as always.
But it's a learning moment for Alita. I think the most problematic, the thing that really annoys me, is that every single action scene was in the trailer. So every single action scene you'd seen, you saw the reveal of the Spider-esque woman, you saw the bar fight, you saw the roller derby, you saw the jumping through it bit, every icon, you saw the holding the sword up going, I will now fight Solomon. And it's like, no you won't! You don't do that! That's not how it goes!
But that's what a lot of things are doing at the moment.
You're not a YA, you're not the Hunger Games!
But I feel like that's what a lot of films do now with their trailers. They put all the good bits in the trailer, so when you watch it you're like, oh, I've pretty much seen the film in the trailer. Like,
they really need to stop doing that.
Yeah, they do. They need to
make it...
Like, one of the best trailers is like the Aladdin trailer, where you just see the Cave of Wonders, see him reaching for the lamp, and then finish it. That's what trailers should be. They show you a bit of it and then leave the rest to mystery. I mean, we all know what happens in Aladdin. That's not a secret.
Yeah. I think the Aladdin people are kicking themselves for showing another trailer.
Because Genie has, sorry Will Smith, but Genie has infected people's dreams and turned them to nightmares.
Yes. What is with that big blue... Oh, dear.
I feel so bad for Will Smith because he has got big boots to fill.
But they should have just made it a CGI Genie.
Yeah.
And with his voice, rather than a weird half CGI bunking blueberry. It's
like, we need to know.
Makeup. It's like CGI here, but his head is just stuck on it and they haven't blended some of it.
It's like, we need to know that this is Will Smith, so make sure everyone knows it's him by sticking his head. It's like, no, we know his voice. We know who Will Smith is. You don't need to do that. So, but that's a completely different story entirely.
People need to... Practical effects, people. Practical effects. Don't go away from them.
Did Ido remove his mark in the anime? Because in the film...
I don't think he did.
No, because...
I remember him having a bobble.
Yeah, because in the anime, he had it. In the manga, did he have it? Did he remove it? He did. So
well, the thing is, that is all tied in with a bigger plot point that this film has ruined.
Right. Okay.
So I can't say it because it will spoil one of the major things that happens in the manga.
Right.
Which they can't do now because I'm like, they've kind of spot that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's connected to something else. The fact that you're just like, no, there's a reason for things.
See, because, again, I noticed that from the start, and at the very start my note said he hadn't got a spot.
Yeah.
And then he says, I got it removed. So then I changed my note to, does he actually remove his spot? Or have they just done
pull
that?
the hat down over it.
Exactly. So, I didn't understand that particularly.
No. Like, most of my criticisms from this film is how much it played it safe.
It was kind of safe.
They just made it very much... I mean, I've seen Marvel films that have got more darkness in them. If you watch Civil War, like, they didn't play it safe with some of the harsh realities that came into that. You can do 12 and you can still give it grittiness and you can still give it, like, adult storylines. People understand that death and PTSD and, like, life-changing events happen. But this film, they just made it so safe. They made it a really safe, easy to explain love story. They made it a really safe world. I
feel like some of the characters could have looked, especially the cyborgy bad guy type people, I felt like they could have looked more grotesque. Because they do in the anime, they look pretty rotten.
Yeah, because they made it a leftover. How are they affording all that shiny new metal in the dumps?
Well, like the guy with the hook hands, I felt like he could have been a bit more gross looking. Because he looks kind of like a hero. And it's like, no, he wasn't. He was really horrible looking in the anime. Like, he was not someone you wanted to mess with.
No, exactly. You know? It was just like they were either meant to be so dinged up from being in the roller derby, or it was because of failing health that half of them have to replace certain parts of them and stuff, and which is why Ido's working as a doctor. Those all shiny, beautiful things. You're all too shiny and pretty.
Yeah.
Everything is too shiny and pretty.
Well, one of the bits that disturbed me, because in the anime when we reviewed that, I was disturbed by the eyes in the jar. The eyes moved this time. She was still conscious.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no. Eyes in a jar were bad enough. Yeah. Not just having her brain sat there with the eyes and the hands in the jar and her actually consciously looking at them. It's like, no. Too far. No.
Yeah, it was weird how they went far with that bit, because that bit also spoils something from the manga.
Oh, for goodness sake.
So, like... It's like, why did you show all that? Oh, Jesus, people. Like, I get that Cameron must like the source material. There was a lot in it that he was clearly, like... And he clearly loved. It wasn't like he just read some of it and made his own version. He loved bits of it, so he changed it around to get what he loved into this movie, not knowing if it was going to get a sequel, just doing what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a terrible movie.
No.
I think the fact that it's about 64 on Rotten Tomatoes is about an average film. I would say, like, it's not as great as my, like, obsession with, like, the Marvel films that are all, like, up there on, like, pedestals for me.
Yeah.
But adding the extra layer of me also being a fan of the original and having read the manga. Yes, I can't remember all of the manga because I read it in the 90s. So I'm a bit like, I'm going to reread it all, and there's probably some stuff that will come to light. I just remember snippets of it. But that brings it, like, down in my esteem. But I get that people like it. I get that it's going to have a lot of appeal. It's just, it's not the Alita that I grew up with.
Do you think it would have been better with a more Asian cast? Or do you think they should have done it with an Asian cast first? Or...
No, I don't actually have any problems with this. I don't think it's an example of whitewashing because the world it was created in, the characters look westernised and stuff.
Okay.
And it's just like, and the fact that Alita's meant to look like a doll, and like, I didn't have it, not in the way that I had a problem with Ghost in the Shell when I was like, why is Makoto Kusanagi Scarlett Johansson? Her name is Makoto Kusanagi. Like, you know.
Name does not match.
No,
person.
I mean, they could have, I mean, they did try and throw a couple of Asians in there, some of the sub-characters, but you're like, that guy's meant to be like that guy, and they're not using him, oh well, never mind. But they were doing it in a world where it wasn't quite as obvious, like in the original Alita, it was, you know, elitist Japanese society, because so much cyberpunk was made during the 80s and 90s where there was so much social unrest in Japan. So it was like a commentary on the elitism of like the Japanese hegemonic society versus Zainichi Koreans and Chinese immigrants and working class peoples. So there was, you know, that. So this one, if they'd kept in some social commentary, but they had this weird thing of like, yes, and the reason it's so ethnic down here is because people came from all the other cities to live here.
Right.
And you're like, that's not how things work. Like, you know, it's just like, no. So it's like, oh, you could have had some really interesting social commentary on elitism versus, like, you know, the people that don't fit the standard of beauty elitism, and, you know, but they didn't. So I mean,
the other thing I want to bring up is how good did that chocolate look? Oh my god, thick chocolate! When was the last time we had thick chocolate?
I was going to say, in a post-apocalyptic world where people are getting their spines ripped out and, you know, genocide is going on, and also the wasteland's all irradiated, it's all nuclear out there with these beautiful fields of corn. But there's someone is growing cocoa beans to be able, and milking cows to produce chocolate in the irradiated dust plains of the desert.
Unless it was like lactose chocolate. It is all like man-made ingredients rather than naturally born ingredients.
It's all Soylent Green, it's just people.
Yeah, it's all just people.
It's just all just people. Oh, you don't. Just no. But it did really make me want to eat chocolate. I was thinking about it, now I really want a chocolate bar.
It was just so thick.
And I was like, we don't get chocolate that good.
No.
I mean, and it would have cost a fortune.
It would have.
Chocolate doesn't... It's like, oh yeah, here's some coins for this thick, luxurious chocolate.
Exactly, it's a luxury. Surely it's a luxury in that kind of like world.
Yeah, but no. No, their world wasn't that. As I say, I've been to cities that are like, you know, you go hang out in some cities and it's clearly like dirtier than that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They tried hard to make a wonderful kind of like YA sci-fi fantasy that would appeal to young people. But it felt very much like when you watch Ready Player One, which is all style, but actually, like, plot-wise and stuff, you're just like, this is not doing it for me. There's no social commentary in it. It's this forced relationship, and it's all love, and their avatars kind of just look like them anyway. It's not anything, they're not that different. And it's beautiful. I mean, Ready Player One looks beautiful, and it is great, like, trying to spot all the cameos of video game and movie characters all over the place, but actually, you're like, it just came across as just a nice sci-fi adventure. It's like, it's fun, but it's not going to become iconic in the way Blade Runner does.
Yeah.
Even 2046, which I thought was a bit overindulgent and very slow, I still, when I close my eyes, see some of that cinematography, some of that scoring, some of that just kind of the blended world and the ideas it had in it. I just think it's a phenomenal piece of cinema with some interesting ideas, especially the original Blade Runner and things. And films like Brazil, which were original like 80s cyberpunk films, these films just did it all better. And I think that's why the Marvel films will hold out as iconic cinema in years to come, because A, the CGI is good, but they didn't forget that you need to like the humans in it, and there's got to be more to humans than teenager falls in love with teenager.
I feel like the Marvel films is going to be one of those things where future generations are going to wish that they were around for when it was happening, because it's such a huge thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's great that we are around to experience it, because like with like the whole Star Wars movement and all that kind of stuff, we weren't there for that.
No.
And if we were, we were too young for that. But like we get to experience it with Marvel. As much as I would love to have experienced it with DC, because I am a DC girl. I love my Harley Quinn. But unfortunately Marvel got there first, and Marvel did it bigger and better. Yeah. So
DC takes their time, they'll get there, but they need to stop rushing out random projects.
Yeah. I think they needed to let Marvel have their moment.
Yeah.
And then once the end of these films were done, then they could go, hey, it's our turn. And by now they would have perfected it. But unfortunately.
I mean, I'm very much like these cinematic universes drive me crazy. The only two that I'm really into is obviously the Marvel and obviously the King of Monsters stuff, because that's Godzilla and King Kong, and the new one has King Ghidorah in it. And, it's going to be so exciting with Mothra and Rodan, and I'm just going to be literally like waiting myself, and people are going to be like, why are you so excited about the idea of giant monsters tromping around a city? And I'm like, it's the original kaiju movies. So, like, I like those. But they took their time. Godzilla came out ages ago. King Kong was about a year or 2 years ago now. And then they're doing the new one, King of Monsters, is coming out. They're kind of like, they didn't just like go, quick, rush out a load of monster movies. They were like, we did this one, it was successful. We've got a plan. We're going to eventually build up to King of Monsters.
How long did Alita take to make, do we know? Because obviously Avatar took 10 years. Do we know how long Alita took?
Probably less than 10 years because technology has come along. But I would say it must have been because I've known about it for at least 2. And I was just like, oh dears, hoping it was never going to be made. And then last year it looks like it was going to be made, and I was like, oh damn. But, I mean, I'm glad it's been made because I think it will get a lot of people interested in the comic books.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. It's the same kind of feeling that I had when I hated that Ghostbusters reboot. Hated it because the plot was all over the place and it wasn't funny and it was too reliant on CGI. But I loved what it did for young girls going, yeah, I can be a Ghostbuster, and like, that kind of like, you don't have to wear the sexy Ghostbuster outfit. You can actually just be a Ghostbuster and a scientist, and that's fun. So I like the fact that this might inspire a load of people to go and read the manga and watch the anime and look at some of the other cyberpunk stuff that went in to influence this.
But don't pretend that you know about Alita just by watching this film.
Yeah.
Go, if you have enjoyed it, go research it, go read the manga, go watch the anime, and then you can compare it.
Yeah. Especially there's such beautiful art in the manga. It's so well drawn. Some of it is just like phenomenal. And it's part of that style that I like from some of the classic, where there's a lot more line work. And sometimes manga nowadays is a bit too clean.
Yeah.
This one is a lot more kind of like this.
Gritty.
Yeah.
Like it should be.
Gritty, yeah. Which is what we want from gritty cyberpunk dramas.
Exactly.
Oh, I didn't like them turning it into a safe space, YA, Twilight, Hunger Games, when it's like, it's not that.
No. It's gritty and dark and gruesome and life's not fair.
Yeah.
Never fair.
Exactly. And it's like, they just, made it so shiny, and they shouldn't have put the roller derby stuff in it so soon, because that's what she does to go and, like, freak out because she's so upset. She just wants to cause pain and feel pain. This was like, it was just a sport.
Well, it seemed like, because you end up going up, don't you, if you become the ultimate champ. So that's what it seemed like it was more towards, that she was trying to get up there to avenge Hugo.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like, rather than her saying, no, I just want to hurt people, and people hurt me.
And the thing is the whole, like, the reason she becomes a hunter warrior and stuff is all, like, and this one is so dumbed down. Like, she becomes a hunter warrior, and she wants to help out Hugo because she's like, sweet, innocent boy who's, like, all alone. I'm going to help save up money, and I'm going to hunt these things and give my money to him and help his dream come true, because I want his dream to come true, because I'm a sweet, innocent little thing. And then she's going off, and she goes off and she kills people. Sweet little Alita is a hunter warrior, and they never showed her going on a single mission and killing a single person. Then when the Hugo stuff comes round, she's all conflicted because she's like, oh no, there's a bounty on him. He did do those crimes. I've killed people for the same reasons, but I know more about his story, therefore have I killed people without realising that there's probably more to it than that? And therefore she matures a little bit. And then by the time that like Shirin realises that like Alita has got more of a consciousness in it and a chance to grow more and doesn't want her innocence totally destroyed, so helps her save Hugo. Then, but because Hugo's so messed up because, like, the guy who killed his brother turned up and, tried to kill him and he didn't get the revenge, and also he's like, oh my goodness, I actually have been killing people and all this stuff. He's so messed up, and then he's like, now I'm just a head, now I'm a cyborg. So when he's climbing up the thing, he's lost the plot.
Yeah, he's absolutely...
He's nuts.
Insane. Yeah.
Yeah, and in this one he was just like, gone for a walk.
Well, in this one it's like, hey, I've got cyborg body now, I can climb.
And they're like, watch out, the woozy things are coming. I'm like, you've made that so obvious that those exist. You never saw them at all in the movie apart from one flashback 300 years ago.
Yeah.
You didn't make it obvious that it was a really bad idea to climb that thing. And people try it all the time, which is why they have the woozy bits on it to stop people climbing up it.
Yeah.
It's like, argh!
Not happy.
Not happy. I will read all the manga again.
So I fear to ask, out of 5?
Oh.
We'll give it 5 whooshy things.
I don't know what they're called. The pipe cleaners.
Yeah.
Angry pipe cleaners.
How many pipe cleaners do you give this?
About 2.
Yeah.
I will give it 1 because it is beautiful. Mm-hmm. It did do a lot of good work on the CGI. And I like Ido, and I like Alita. And I like what it could do for cinema and for manga and for comics. I like that it wasn't as rubbish as the ones that have become before, when the people clearly never read the actual original source material and went, yay, let's make it without.
Definite.
Yeah.
Let's just completely change the story altogether.
Yeah, and make it lame, and make Kira lame.
Yeah, very lame.
But lame. Yeah. I do think it's an alright movie. It was like, I found the pacing quite slow, but it's not my Alita, and I can't like it for that.
Okay. I'm going to give it, I don't know, because it depends how I base it. If I'm basing it on the film alone, if you didn't know anything about it, I'd give it like a 4, because I think it was enjoyable to watch. If you knew nothing about it, then, it makes sense and everything. Because it's because we know all the backstory. Well, I don't know every backstory, but I know some of them, like Hugo's and stuff. Because of that, I felt like they did miss out some really good storylines, and now that Hugo's dead, we're never going to get that storyline.
Yeah.
So they have missed that entirely. And I was, even up until he was climbing the thing, I was like, maybe he'll tell the story now.
Yeah.
And he just never did. So I feel like, because I know of that story, I feel like it's missed out. However, if you don't know anything about it, you wouldn't know that that's been missed out.
Yeah. So you would just think he was this boring ass character that's wandering around it going, I sparkle.
Maybe. But yeah, so as someone who's watching it, not based on anything else, I'd give it a 4.
Yeah.
Knowing what I know, I'd probably give it a 3. Because again, I think if I read the manga, it would go down to a 2, because there's even more stuff to explore. But because I've already seen the anime, I'm going to give it a 3.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 3 because, the visually, I liked it, like the underwater scene, the
I just loved her arms.
Yeah, her arms were beautiful, and the actual battle suit, I thought that was very well. I'd wear that. The purple and the silver look great together, and the way it moulded to her body, I thought that was very well done. The scoring, I can't give anything for that, because I just feel like the anime was better.
Yeah.
I enjoyed, I think that the acting was good for what they got given to do. I thought it was very good. So I think, from a totally standalone film, a 4. From a anime watcher, a 3.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. Yeah, it gave an extra point because I think they all do good things for industry and knowledge.
Yeah, which is a good reason.
Yeah. But me, no.
But I think we should finish this by saying, if you did enjoy the film, go see the anime, go read the manga.
God, yeah. So beautiful. And it's all out in these beautiful luxury hardback editions now. They're re-releasing all of the Alita volumes and they look stunning.
And also I predict a pop coming.
There is.
There is one. There you go.
I saw it in game the other day.
There you go. See? So go and buy the pop as well.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed the episode. This is Lizzie from Let Zoe Spoil You signing off. And if you did like what you heard and want to hear more from me, you can find me as Let Zoe Spoil You on YouTube, Instagram, Tumblr and Twitter.
And if you'd like to know more from Sagira, you can find me on YouTube, Tumblr and Twitter.
But for now, this is a weeaboo saying Janne
And Newbie saying, see ya!